Good morning, afternoon, and evening. This is the FGEN Experience. Documenting interviews and conversations between first-generation students at the University of Portland. In today's episode, two off-campus roommates connect based on their backgrounds in dedication and commitment, including experiences in nursing and biology. Mauricio Paz and Rios Guevara, both hailing as a handful of the first-generation students of Mexican descent in their house, bring some love to the podcast and an overall provocation of thought, more so than in other episodes. Recorded in person in a Franz Hall auditorium on March 21st, 2021, we hope you enjoy.
All right.
Here, let me take off my mask.
Yes, I know.
I live with you anyways.
All right.
So Victor, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, man.
On the
Thank you for
podcast.
having me. Thank you for inviting me.
You excited? What are we up to?
I'm still getting my $50%.
Oh yeah. That's on our budget, right?
Is that coming out of like tuition or
What's that?
my $50 percentage?
No,
I forgot to mention that it's a $50 percentage
Fee that
he charges.
Or I charge. Mine's a little more expensive, but
Yeah, so what were you up to today?
not much, man. I went to work this morning. I'm a medical screener up in Vancouver, and we were super slow. And yeah, there's pretty much nothing new. I did a lot of cleaning. Pretty much like a maid today.
Really? Alright, so tell me and everyone else that's listening to us, like a little bit what you do at your work.
All right. So technically, I'm a medical assistant who's about to be certified in phlebotomy as well. And basically, all I do is I go and poke your finger. I get a sample of your blood. I put it in a hematostat, spins it, and it splits your protein from your plasma. I then measure the amount of iron and the amount of hydration that you are based off of that capillary tube sample that I get. And I put it into a refractometer, which then measures the amount of protein in which the donors can see how much protein they have in them. And based on that, there's certain numbers that you have to be between in order to be a suitable donor for the day. And if you make it, then you're good. And if you don't, then we defer you, depending on your situation, for either a day or various weeks.
I see. So how long have you been working there for now?
I just hit my 3-month anniversary this morning, actually.
Really?
So, yeah.
Hey, congrats, honestly. It feels like
Thanks, man.
you've been working there for a long time. It's been
dude.
pretty fast.
I'm excited, though. I finally get to use my PTO.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, it's after the 3 months?
Yeah,
Am I
after 3
correct?
months.
How many hours do you have?
I've only accumulated like 7. So.
Hey, that's still
Yeah, it's a
what
day of
a
work,
day
bro.
right there, yeah. 7 hours.
Yeah.
How are you liking
Yeah.
it?
Honestly, I'm loving it, man. I'm honestly using it as an opportunity to grow and just be able to go and get that certification for medical assistant and then just move up in ranks. So I'll probably be moving out of that job soon, about a year or so.
Yeah.
And going up.
Sweet. So, what are you trying to do in the future, as your career?
My goal is to be a physician assistant. I want to be in family medicine, specifically working with Latinx communities. I feel like healthcare in those communities can use a bump up, and I definitely want to advocate for people like that. So
That's a great goal to have, especially, being Latino yourself,
yeah,
part of the community. And also you're first generation, right?
yeah, I'm a first time. Yes.
How does that play into sort of what you want to be in the future, or sort of how it motivates you to keep going forward?
I mean, it's a big motivation. I mean, I don't want to say there's like a target on the back because there really isn't, but there's definitely some weight that first gen students have to carry. Like we are the first in our family to go to college. We're the first ones to seek higher education and honestly be able to even receive it. And so, at least for myself as well, with my siblings, with my family, like everyone looks up to me, and so failure is not really an option. It's kind of hard to, I guess, fail.
Yeah.
And if it is that we are ever struggling, I think something that I really rely on is friends. Like people like you, like you're a first gen student as well. Like you feel, you understand where I come from, you understand where it is that we struggle sometimes, and so just having that support around me has definitely helped me a lot. But yeah, first gen is honestly a big influence. I think it's probably one of the best things that you can be as a college student. Like, it gives you a lot of power. You may not know it, but it really does.
Yeah.
You can definitely carry yourself a little bit higher, I feel like.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Struggle, man.
well, I don't know if you mentioned it, but we live together. Like with other people that are also first gen, Christians first gen, right too.
I believe so.
Yeah, so like all of us in the house are first gen. We're all people of color. Most of us like Hispanic, with one Filipino. Like we're all pretty diverse in there.
Yeah.
And like I feel like living with you guys is like great.
Yeah.
Not only are we first generation, because we know what we're going through. The struggles. That there's things that we like none of us know, and that we're just learning together as a group. And we're there for each other. Most importantly, and I think that's one of the biggest things of being Latino and first gen.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's certainly something I identify as.
Yeah.
So
something you should be proud of for sure.
Exactly.
I think it's definitely something to be proud of.
Especially to the point. You remember one time we were talking about like sometimes you feel like you don't deserve to be here, but then you were like, dude, you made it here this far. Like you deserve to be here. There's a reason why you're here. You remember sort of what we were talking about that one time?
Yeah. I remember we were all talking just about our future ambitions and career goals.
Yeah.
Like we all kind of went over what our struggles were. I mean, as a first gen, I mean, just as a student, like in college in general, you're gonna face a lot of struggles. But I think that being a first gen student definitely faces a little bit more, and just more so because we didn't have that guidance into how it is that like we can seek for help. Like who do we go for help? What do we do if we do struggle? But yeah, like I remember that night we kind of got pretty deep. Not gonna lie, like all 5 of us, 6 of us were there just talking around the bonfire and just, like having a beer, having a good time. And so I just remember we just went in there and like how about yourself? Like, what do you think about first gen? Like, what does that mean to you?
Not gonna lie, dude. I honestly thought it was when I first came in, like, because I didn't do any of the like summer programs or anything like that. That FGEN
first gen or the
like the UP
connections
or like even the summer plunge. Is that FGEN as well, or what? Summer launch, yeah. Like I was invited to that, but I didn't do it. I don't know if you did it. Did you?
Yeah, I did a UP Connections only.
Oh, UP Connections.
Which was, it was honestly a big advantage. For any incoming students, do those programs. Yeah. It'll help a lot.
100%. No, like doing, like especially now with the pandemic, you don't get to do much things with a lot of people, especially with communities like the first gen. You can't really come together as a big group, like you used to. But well, I mean, you can, but not to the extent that it was before. But like. Yeah, that's a big tip that I would give out. Like really attend those events because you really don't know what you're missing out, and you feel like you're like, oh wow, I feel like I could have like been more involved in the community.
Yeah.
On campus and off campus and whatever before the pandemic, and I feel like that really didn't hit me till now.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
And like, but I'm glad I live with you guys because it would have been worse if I was living somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like with other people, but.
Yeah, I mean, we're glad you were able to live with us. Like, we definitely don't regret it at all, man.
And we're gonna continue living with each other, right?
For sure. Yeah,
even though like sometimes.
Speaking of which, you gotta sign the lease. I haven't sent it to you, but.
Well, how am I supposed to sign if you haven't sent it?
Right. That's my bad.
Very chill. But you're gonna take most care of the lease, is that? So you're gonna taking over like what Christian is doing?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm taking over Christian, and then Mies is gonna be the one handling the bills. So.
Oh, Mies.
Yeah, Danny didn't want to take on that responsibility. But.
No. No, I feel like me and Danny pretty a lot. So like I think you guys are most responsible out of all of us, and like V-Rod, big inspiration. V-Rod and Christian too,
Yeah, Christian.
They're both doing big moves. After UP. That one time we were talking about the bonfire, we all got very deep. Like, we were all like, yeah, V-Rod, you're like a big. V-Rod is Victor Rodriguez,
Yeah, he's 2020 grad, recent grad.
Yeah.
Nursing.
And he lives with us, and he's like, like a big role model to us,
We all look up to him, being a first-time student himself, too. Like, he definitely shares a lot of tips and insight on how it is that we can get through sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like a living example, He's even trying to get us into his floor because he works as a RN nurse in the OR unit. So he's always in contact with all these physicians, and that's sort of what we're trying to get into. You're trying to become a PA, and I'm trying to do surgery, become a surgeon.
Orthopedic, right?
Orthopedic. That was the plan, but honestly, like I was telling you guys earlier, I opened up the brain just last week, and it was like one of those instances where I was like, wow, I'm actually considering doing something this hard, like this is like, I was looking at that brain and I was like, this is like really what we, I guess what powers us and what makes us us, in my opinion, if we didn't have this, we wouldn't be able to have the processes that we have, exactly. So
you have to handle something so delicate.
Yeah.
If you mess up once, like,
which was kind of scary about that. Like, I was like, orthopedics, like it's like less blood, I've heard, and stuff like that, and like brain, it's like definitely much more blood. But like, I'm like, well, I don't have to be as delicate as I would have to with the brain. But yeah, I'm definitely considering it. But anyways, yeah, V-Rod, big guy, I feel like he's really looking out for us.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of like reaching out.
A lot of insight.
Yeah, insight, and also like popping in our names with all those surgeons and stuff like that are in there.
Giving us a step on the foot, like inside of the door.
Yeah. Imagine though.
That's crazy, dude. If we're able to go.
Yeah.
Another surgeon, Dr. Patel.
Dr. Patel. Yeah. It's the crazy stories with Dr. Patel. But too bad the pandemic, man. Like I feel like that was really took a toll, yeah, especially with the shadowing and stuff. Like there's still ways to be involved. Like I'm gonna go for you.
It's just hard.
Yeah. So much hard.
So you want to be a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So how does the, I guess, like Latino stereotypical family, like whenever I hear of like Latino families and they're like, oh, like whenever the parents tell the kid, like, you should grow up to be a doctor, you should grow up to be a lawyer, how much influence did your parents have on that? And like, how much influence did your community have in that? Like, typically you don't hear like Latino parents say, hey, like, it's okay if you don't become a doctor or a lawyer, like instead you hear like, if you don't become a doctor, you don't become a lawyer, like, what are you here for?
Yeah, like why are you going to school? Like, no, honestly, not gonna lie, like it was tough, like in high school, like I was always reminded that I had to go to school because I didn't want to work where my parents were working. Like my parents are vineyard workers. They've worked in vineyards for a long time, cultivating the crops and stuff. So like I worked there every summer ever since like I was like 12 or 13. I was out there at least doing something with my dad or my mom. But yeah, they would always like say like, oh, like go to school. You don't want to like keep working this for the rest of your life. And I understood that, and I understood that. But they never really pushed me to be anything in specific. They just pushed me to go to school to pursue a higher education, whether it be for whatever. Either it doesn't necessarily have to be to any like these super hard like careers like doctor or lawyer, just simply like being a teacher or something, someone that like I don't have to rely on like doing hard manual labor in order to like maintain like sustain myself and my family. But yeah, there is a high expectation for you to be someone or to pursue higher education and not work long hours like they do. At least that's what I got from my parents. My mom and dad were very supportive of my education. They helped me out as much as I could. They couldn't do it financially, but they were always like they supported. Yeah, they supported me, and they always kept reminding me like, hey, like you don't have to pay a single bill here as long as you're putting in the effort to continue higher education. And like I never really asked for anything big. I still worked for my stuff. Ever since I was 15, I was like cutting yards, with and like doing stuff like that. So like I always had money to buy myself stuff, and I never really saved anything. I wasn't really financially literate, so I didn't really save most because I didn't know. But yeah, like just get pushed to continue education as much as I can. I'm glad I did that. What about you?
Same. I mean, my parents never really pushed me to, I guess, be something. They just, same thing as you, like they just supported me, and they were like, you know what, like we just want you to get a good education. It's like, it's the whole like immigrant story, like the typical one where it's like, I mean, your parents come here to give their kids a better future, or your grandparents came here to give their kids a better future, and it's like now we're here. And my family has always been big on the whole like, oh well, you're already here, like might as well do it, and yeah, like being a first gen like myself, like I have two younger siblings. I have a sister who's a junior and she's about to graduate, and I have a brother who's going into middle school, or like is in middle school, I believe. I don't even know.
You do know.
I know he's 13, but
no safety. I'm gonna lie.
But yeah, and so like just in general, like they never pushed us to like, hey, you have to be a doctor, you have to be something, you know. Like, I mean, my dad's a landscaper. He has been like for
Yeah.
a while. My mom, she works for the public schools like back home. And so yeah, like just working with my dad on weekends as well, like or over the summer, like that manual labor, like it's tough. Like honestly, I don't tell my dad a lot of this stuff, but I mean I give him that props. You know, like
Yeah.
doing that since they got here for a while, or you know, since they've that's all they've known. You know, it's manual
Yeah.
labor. And
Exactly.
so unfortunately, like them not being able to seek a higher education, like kind of sucks because I see the effects on his body, you know, like
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's tired, but he knows he has to keep going through because he has a family to support.
Yeah.
You know, and same way with my mom, like she knows she can't give up because I mean we have two younger siblings.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I
Yeah.
mean they have to be on top of their stuff
Yeah.
to be able to actually provide for our family. And so yeah, like honestly, I think everyone should go through a phase in life where they work like they have hard labor. You know, like I honestly think it opens up a lot of eyes to a lot of people, even though
Uh-huh.
it may not seem like it.
Yeah.
Like working for your stuff is honestly like pretty cool, but at the same time, you know, it's like it sucks.
No, it
It takes a
definitely
lot
does
of
suck.
work.
No, yeah, and like you brought up that your parents are very hard workers. You know, like my parents are also very hard workers. I feel like if we wouldn't have came to like college, you know, if you just finished high school and just gone straight into the workforce, you know, I feel like they would have put us at a very high standard
Mm,
to work. You know,
yeah.
like I feel like if I know that if I wouldn't have continued with college, I would have been working in the vineyards with my dad, and like he always pushed me. Like after vineyards, we would always do landscaping. Like every Tuesday and Thursday, we had houses that we'd go to, you know, on the side. But yeah, he really pushed me hard, and he kept reminding me that like you know like I have it really easy in terms of that I don't have to work hard because you know I get to go to school. But like if I ever decided not to keep going to school, and like I would have to work hard to like sustain myself.
Yeah, definitely.
So like yeah, I feel like they definitely would have like held us to a higher standard in terms of our work ethic.
Yeah.
Like you know,
Yeah,
like they
especially.
say in Spanish, hay que chingarle, you
Yeah,
know,
hay que
because
darle.
hay que darle
Ya no hay de
because like
otra.
yeah,
Estamos aquí.
honestly, yeah,
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, same here, man. Like my dad was always pushing me, and um, when he worked for like his old landscaping company like 10 years ago, like every weekend, you know, it's like side hustle, like let's go. And so I was like they're 14 years old, 13 years old, you know,
yeah,
like saying cutting lawns, you
yeah,
know, like
dude.
just picking up all kinds of leaves and stuff. And sometimes it'd even be in the snow, man. And that sucks.
That does
I'll tell you that
suck.
right now, it sucks, man. Like it's cold, and like the last thing you want to do is just be shoveling snow off someone else's driveway. It's not even your driveway, man. It's someone else's too.
Yeah, honestly,
And you're there, and you're like, damn. But honestly, I mean, I'm thankful for those experiences at the end of the day. You
no,
know,
yeah,
like just definitely seeing how hard both my parents work, and being able to actually experience that firsthand. Like
yeah,
it's something else, man. Like I mean, we honestly we kind of do have it easy. Like I know school's hard. Like it really is. Like school's not for everyone. I've always said that too.
no,
Like school's not meant for everyone. But I mean, school itself is hard. But there's also I mean manual labor and just working hard in general. Like
yeah,
that's also hard, man. Like
yeah,
you know,
no, like that's a good point that you brought up. You know, like I am with you. Like I feel like it's a great experience to pursue higher education. You know, don't get me wrong, but like you said, like school isn't for everyone. Like if someone wants to like just not continue with school, I think definitely high school. Like high school, I think is one thing that you just need to complete because I feel like a
yeah,
lot of places are like you need your like high school diploma or
yeah,
GED, you know. But like after high school, I think it's really optional and like if someone knows what they want to do in life and they just want to go straight into it and they know that they have to take like certain hours or certain programs to get certified in whatever they want to do, that like I think that's great because they know what they want to do. You know,
yeah,
they're going straight into it, and like you don't have to go to like a 4 year school or even a 2 year community college to figure out what you want to do. You know,
yeah,
like they already know what they want to do, and like I'm not saying that people should know what they want to do early on, obviously, because that's hard. Like I
yeah,
didn't know what I want to do, and
yeah.
I switched when I was in college.
Yeah, I started off as a nurse, man.
Yeah, me too. See, we started off as nurses, and now look, we're in different. I guess same sort of realm
Same
in the
path,
medical
same
field, but
different paths.
different paths. And so like, and some people already know what they want to do. Like I don't know if I ever told you this, but one time I went home and one of my cousin's little ones, he told me he's like, yeah, I just want to do what my dad does. and his dad's like this like he started off he came from Mexico, and started off like working in tree cutting. What is it called? Like
Tree cutting?
it's like Los
lumber.
Pineros.
Yeah,
I guess like
just like a lumber
lumberjacking.
shop. Yeah.
Well, it's like he works for a company that takes down the pine trees that they use to like widen roads or like just to clear forests. Like if you ever would like drive past a mountain and you see like a patch that's cleared,
Yeah.
like there's companies that clear that have their people that clear that. So he started off as a worker, like taking the trees down. Now he's like the one managing people and bringing people on a visa from Mexico. And he's like, I just want to do what my dad does, Like I just want to do what my dad does, he makes a pretty good living off of that. And I'm like, dude, that's great. Go for it. Like you don't have to go to college. He says he doesn't know if he wants to go to college, So
I think the hard part though is like, especially with at least like Latino parents, and I'm not just speaking like Mexican, I'm speaking like everyone, like every Hispanic and Latin ethnicity. Like, I think it's hard for us to tell them like, hey, I don't want to pursue an education, like a higher education at college, and instead I want to like start growing my company. Like I know that there are a lot of parents out there that are going to be very shocked and surprised by that because they don't believe in that. They believe that the only way out is education, and I mean, it's the sad reality, But at the end of the day, like education is, you can only get knowledgeable on so many things.
I think it's the safest way too.
It is.
Like I think that's why they like you're talking about like business and stuff like that. I think that's why like when you say, oh, I just want to start a business, they're usually like kind of hesitant about that because like
it's risky.
It's risky.
Yeah,
that's really why it's risky. So. And like it doesn't always work, and
it doesn't
so that's
secure your spot. Yeah,
exactly.
And, like I think that's super hard to like explain to like a Latino family for sure. I know for a fact that when I was a senior, at least in high school, if I would have told my parents, hey, I don't want to go to college, instead I want to start my business, whether it be like continue my dad's landscaping business or like whatever it is I want to do, like they would have been very disappointed and not very supportive of that for sure. I feel like it would have been a little harder to tell them, hey, I don't want to do school. I just want to go and work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, again, like they came here to give us a better life, and with that means like education. You know? And I mean, if we're not pursuing education, like I feel like a lot of families take that a little bit too much to the heart. Which, again, it's kind of sad, but yeah, I mean, there's so many ways around this world that you don't need higher education. I feel like, but it's definitely a blessing. Being a first-gen student is definitely a blessing, and I think everyone should pursue it, at least in something. And no matter what, like you're going to be pursuing education, like how you're saying, if you want to start a company, like there's certain certifications that you need. Well, you need to study for those certifications because there's going to be an exam. And higher education doesn't necessarily mean going to college. It just means being more knowledgeable in something. Like you can study one thing. Like if you want to be a plumber, you still have to study to be a plumber. You still have to know what parts go where, like all that. It's all skill, memory skill. So you still have to study, you have to memorize, and like that to me is considered higher education. Because now you're seeking something that's much higher in your level. Like you want a company, you need a certification. And you want to become one of the state's like top plumbers or whatever, you need to go and learn how to invest money into your own company.
Exactly.
Just a bunch of knowledge, though.
No, it's that ability to learn. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Whether you already have it or you go to like a 4-year program to like finally figure out how to like learn. I think that's really the key to being like happy with what you do. Because if you find something like you enjoy doing and you're able to learn and you like enjoy learning that, like it's like such a much different concept than going somewhere that you don't like you're good at it but you don't like really enjoy it. So
yeah, for sure.
But
it's tough, man.
It is tough. Yeah, honestly.
I mean, let's see. I think something that is a pretty popular question is what advice would you give to like incoming freshmen that are first gen, or like what advice would you give yourself as a freshman, like now, looking at yourself now? Like what's something that you definitely like miss your opportunity on, or at least like are missing your opportunity on that you just wish you can just take back?
Let's see. Dang, that's a good question because I feel like the one thing that always comes to my mind is just being more open to just putting myself out in vulnerable situations. Like, and what I mean by that, it's like coming to college. I thought I was pretty shy. I didn't know anybody that was coming up here. So, and I never really wanted to go out just because I was like, well, I don't know anybody, and So I think just being like vulnerable and just going to these events, even if you feel like you can't handle in terms of like, oh, I don't like being out with a lot of people or something like that, or just like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I don't like to hang out with a lot of big groups or go to big events just because like I don't know anybody there. But if I go with a group of friends that I know, I feel like I'm more comfortable. But like when you first come to college, you don't have a big group of friends like in high school. Yeah. But I think just making that first step too, like make friends and then like just have like, I don't know, someone you could go with to events if you feel like you need someone. But I guess for me that would be that, just being a little bit more vulnerable and like seeking friendships much quicker on, and just like participating in all the activities that are going on with FGEN, with all the clubs I was on, like LSU and Mecha too. But especially when you're a freshman, because I feel like you have more time.
Yeah.
Like now, it's like we're both juniors. I feel like we're super busy. You're busy with work and school, and Coda, the puppy.
Coda, the new puppy.
So now, you have more responsibilities than I feel like you would have freshman year. So yeah.
For sure.
What about you?
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of things, but I think the biggest one that I would say is knowing how and when to ask for help. Like I know my freshman year was definitely the worst of my years. Like when it's honestly like it's no joke. Like I consider myself pretty like I guess upbeat person. Like I feel like I'm pretty happy overall, and like I really don't let things get to me. But freshman year was definitely a tough one. Like I never believed, like I never even thought like, oh, depression would be something real or like something that one can live, and it happened, and it was like it sucked, and I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know who to ask for help, and it's just more again like kind of going off what you were saying, just being open to like going out and like asking people around or like building that friendship group. Like I definitely had a good group of people. Like I mean my RA was V-Rod, and I came up to Portland with a couple friends from back home. I actually had a housemate or a roommate, like Daniel Lagunas. It's like I've known him since I was like in kindergarten, and like we grew up together. But even then, like it just kind of felt like my circle was just limited. Like I definitely didn't know how to seek out for that help with school as well. Like I was struggling a lot with school, and so I didn't realize like the power of asking for help and how it is that it actually like it does make a difference. Like I guess something I definitely want to learn is that like ask for help. Don't be afraid to do it.
Yeah.
We all suffer eventually from one thing or another, and it's like that's what a lot of people are here for. Like Matt Daly definitely helped me out a lot. It's not just as a first-gen student, but just in general as a person. Like he definitely cared a lot. Brother Thomas cared a lot. Like he had my scholarship. He had UD, Cassie, I believe. And so yeah, like honestly, there's a big support group here. So
yeah, it's all about finding those resources.
Yeah, use them as well,
and using them too.
That's something big for that for sure.
No, finding those resources, another big thing. The thing is though, like sometimes I feel like I don't know. I feel like the communication with these resources isn't the best sometimes. Like I don't know. Like I'm DACA, right? And then when I forgot who was telling me that they actually offered like a workshop for those that were with DACA and wanted to fill out their application again. I don't know if did Daniel ever. So Brandon, like I forgot who was telling me that they helped you fill out your application, which saved you like the $500 fee from a lawyer that they usually get you. It's still and also they were able to waive like the actual application fee, which was another thing. Like I didn't know about that stuff, and I just feel like in general, not just with Doc and that event in particular, but just in general, like I feel like the outreach could be a little bit better,
From the school or?
I would say so, yeah. I feel like, yeah, like with more, I guess more posters and just like more funds being allocated to these clubs to be able to like reach out more,
Yeah, definitely. I had a conversation like this actually recently in one of my classes too. It's like, what do you think your school does well with diversity? Like, and I mean, like, what could they do better? And I definitely agree in that. Like, a lot of the advertising comes from like the clubs themselves, which is, I guess, something that I really like about UP too. Is like they let the clubs kind of run things and like do things their own way. Like they don't limit them. But at the same time, like I feel like there are important events that the university could do better, like advertisement with, better like paying attention to, and like just being able to just spread the word out a little bit better, you know?
Yeah.
Like especially, I mean, that would have been a helpful session for you, you know, or like for other students as well. And you know, like unfortunately, you weren't able to hear about it until like last minute or after it happened, you know. And I mean, that's a chance that you missed, you know. And it's like, I mean, I understand not everything can be advertised, and not everything is going to be like pushed out the way that they want it to be. But at the same time, like, I mean, if they put in at least like seeing that they put in the effort, like doesn't hurt.
No, I totally agree, and like, but I guess the community feeling is strong, and because like I was able to find out about it. Maybe not at the moment, but you know, it's bound to happen again, like another event just like that.
Yeah.
And so now maybe I guess I'm a little bit more prepared for that, and like on the lookout. But like, yeah, with communication with events, I think it's hard, you know, right now during the school year, online school. Like I feel like we're always bombarded with email because that's the only really way to like reach out and social media. But like, not gonna lie, I think yesterday I checked, I have like 300 like unread emails, and most of those are because of events and stuff like that. Just because like I get so many emails a day that I lose track of those emails. So
damn, I can't do that.
What, you have to read all the emails?
I have to read them at least if like they're interesting. You know, like I mean, obviously I have all these like random subscriptions and stuff, but like all the school ones, I at least like look over and glance and see like what it is. Like my phone right now, I'm that type of person that has to have like a clean phone.
Really?
You know, like my girlfriend, she has over like 5,000 unread emails. You know, and you can see like the 5,000 like number, and it annoys me because I want to go and clear it, but obviously I'm not gonna spend my time like clearing out 5,000 emails.
No man,
I can't be like that.
I'm like better, man. Like honestly, like I just get overwhelmed, especially because I have a lot of subscriptions to a lot of other apps. So like I get a lot of Gmail, a lot of Outlook, you know. Like recently, like you know, markets and stuff like that, you know, stock market and everything like that. So I get a lot of like just random notifications that I just lose it. And like same with my messages, and like a lot of people get mad because like they're like, hey, why haven't you seen my message, or like why haven't you responded? Like, quite frankly, I probably got like 6 other messages that like I looked at and I totally forgot to look at yours. But I think and with online school that made it worse. You know, it was already bad enough before, and now like with
not even worse.
Not even worse.
The only source of info that we get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But so how you doing with online school?
I mean, honestly, it wasn't that big of a change for me. I seem to handle it pretty well. Like I started taking online school for the first time over the past summer, and I took a Gen Chem and the lab as well. And I mean, obviously, it kind of sucked because I wasn't able to perform any experiments or anything. But at the same time, it's like I still knew I still had to put in the effort to actually go and do a good job, you know. And like I was able to get good grades and stuff. And even first semester too. I think I'm struggling a little bit this semester just because like I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
burned out.
It's like, dude, like the last thing I want to do now is be in a class through a computer for 2 hours at a time when I have all these distractions around me. You know, it's like I'm like, you know how we play Warzone.
Yeah, I was gonna just say that. Like sometimes I'm like in classes, you know, like okay, I'm so sorry, Dr. Hutchinson, but if you hear this podcast, but like you know, like in my biochem class, like we have the way it's set up is like we come together, we do like the pre-reading before class, we read the chapters, we do our notes, and then we submit that. Then we meet, we do an activity in like our little breakout rooms, and then the next class meeting we present on the questions that was assigned to us, essentially. And so like that's how it's structured. But like when we're presenting the questions, and when it's like when I didn't submit it, like when someone else in my group submitted it, like I usually don't pay attention. Like and it's just because like it's so easy to get distracted. Yeah. It's so easy to be like, all right, let's play some Warzone. You know, like it's okay. I don't even have to turn on my camera or my microphone for this class.
I think that sucks. It's like, you know, obviously, I mean, it's totally up to one's, like up to one to want to like turn on the camera and be engaged. But it's like, again, like I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to do that because it's like I said, like I just have so many distractions around me that like the last thing I want to do is be in class for 3 hours at a time too. You know, like those long classes though. That's tough, man.
Yo, yeah, 3 hours of the screen. when like all your work is basically on the screen. It's just
Yeah,
tough.
literally. You know,
It's
it's
tough.
like it's not. You know, you write papers, you're doing assignments all the time. Like it's all computer.
Hmm.
You know, it's like you go from computer to TV. You know.
To phone,
Yeah.
you know, like it's just constant
And I think
wear and
like
tear, really.
yeah, definitely. And I think something that's important too is that, like, for example, we got a home gym, you know, thankfully,
Yeah.
and like that's definitely kept us at least kind of going,
A
you
little
know, like
active, huh?
a little bit active. If we didn't have that like gym set up, I definitely would be probably like 20 pounds heavier right now, dude. Like,
The
you
same,
know, just
honestly, man.
eating and sitting on the couch all the time. But it's like, yeah, dude, like honestly, I like those little like soccer sessions we have sometimes.
Yeah, which we go like twice a week. Well, at least we try to, huh? But no, like I definitely agree. Like to be honest, we go out. We go out quite a bit,
Yeah.
especially on the weekends. We go out quite a
Yeah.
bit. Get takeout, you know, go to Hillsboro for those dollar
Yeah,
tacos,
dollar
you know.
tacos. Yeah,
And like we come back so
Y'all
stuffed.
gotta hit it with dollar tacos.
Yeah, if you guys are
Speaking of it,
in Hillsboro, like best tacos,
best tacos
like
hands
even
down.
yeah, hands down. Like not even 'cause of
Santa
the
Cruz
price.
ain't got nothing on it. Like Burrito Azteca has nothing on it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
this is straight like
authentic.
like homemade Mexican.
Yeah, for a
So-
dollar, man. Like
And
I
they're
whenever
fat.
yeah, they're fat tacos.
They're
They're
fat
like huge.
tacos.
You think like, oh, you probably don't get any meat. No, they literally you can't even see the tortilla from the bottom.
Like,
That's
that's
how
how
fat
much
these
meat.
things are.
And they're like $1, man.
And
Like,
they're a dollar. So like every time we go, we know I get 10.
yeah, we get like 10.
I'm like-
I was gonna say,
I get 10.
What's this place called?
It's
Oh.
called La Cabaña.
La Cabaña. It's a store that's it's a carniceria.
It's like
It's
a butchery.
butcher shop, and they have like the butcher shop, and then they have like obviously like the Mexican now, like all the stuff that comes from Mexico, so like shampoos, you know, like homemade tortillas and stuff. And then on the side in the same building, they have like a little restaurant area, and it's like you can order like literally any type of taco there, and they're about $1
Yeah.
each, and they're really good.
Sounds
So,
insane.
tortillas and
yeah.
everything. Like tortillas are small, but
So like if you guys ever been to Santa Cruz, it's like Santa Cruz, but I feel like they have more selection in terms of the candy. But the layout is the same. They have
Yeah.
like the
store,
meat,
butcher.
the store, and then they have like the restaurant. It's the same layout, but they have more inventory in terms of their like store stuff. Like they have more like that fresh fruit, like a bigger section and stuff like that. But yeah, it's called La Cabaña, Hillsboro. You have to search it up on Google and find the address there. Because you won't be able to find it on Google Maps.
It's like half an hour, so it's kind of a long
Yeah.
ride, but
Sounds worth it.
really,
Here,
it's
I'm
really
gonna
worth it.
say it
Really
into
good.
the podcast that way everyone has it. It's 451 South First Street Avenue or First Avenue, I guess. Suite 600, Hillsboro, Oregon. 97123. Definitely best spot I've ever
Best
been.
spot, yeah.
Best
Honestly,
spot.
I don't think
100%.
I've tasted like that close to home tacos since I've been here, and I've been here for about 3 years. As I said, I'm in Santa Cruz and everything, like, it's all right, but
It's all right. They're close. Like
yeah.
that's nice. They're close. Like
Yeah,
if
they're
you want a
close.
burrito, yeah, I definitely go there. But for tacos, 100%
or
go
food
to-
in general.
For
man.
food in
Like, honestly,
general.
hit that store up. Like, it's cheap and it's really good.
Yeah.
Kinda do
No,
that.
but yeah, we'd be pretty happy with
Yeah,
those tacos.
dude.
Honestly, imagine.
And then
Oh,
all the carne asadas on
yeah,
Fridays.
every
you
week,
know, every
weekends, even though we're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays,
I
which
know,
we do.
Sorry,
now.
God.
Yeah, sorry, sometimes we forget, but no, yeah, we do that. No, man.
Dude, that's crazy. I mean, honestly, like this year has been crazy in and of itself. At the same time, like I'm definitely like blessed.
Mhm.
And like obviously this whole COVID like thing sucks, but I feel like it's brought a lot of people together,
Yeah,
like much closer than they thought
Mhm.
they would ever be. Like I know for a fact, like I mean, like
Yeah.
I've told you this before, man. Like you and I, like I used to talk to you a bit, but not that much.
we knew each other from
Yeah,
soccer,
we
from
knew each other,
intramurals. Yeah,
But that was about it, you know. Like, or I see you on campus, be like, hey, what's up now?
Yeah.
But like now, it's like, dude, like you're like a brother, bro. Like you know, we're
exactly.
homies
Same
here.
to
Like
you.
I'll go to you to anything, and it's like just giving me the opportunity to definitely
Yeah,
be closer with a lot of people too. You know, like
Yeah.
Danny, Mies, bro. I didn't even know Mies.
yeah.
I didn't even know that fool existed.
I feel like we brought out the more social side of him.
Oh, 100%.
He was
He was
so
so shy.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now he's there. He's all wrestling.
he's all wrestling, calling us out and everything.
Yeah, dude.
No, it's great, honestly. And like, I feel like I'm at a really good spot.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the only thing that could change for me right now is like in terms of class. Like, I'm excited to be back on
Oh,
campus, be able to like have bigger gatherings and stuff like that.
yeah, I'm excited for that. Too. I'm ready for that, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
I need that, like, I guess, environment in my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely different. And I think that's something that sucks too for like freshmen. You know, like for freshmen that started this year, and, like
Yeah.
having to go fully online. It's like that definitely takes away a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a whole year that they took away of your college experience.
Especially your freshman
and the
year.
most important
Yeah.
year. Like honestly, I think freshman
Exactly.
year is the most important one.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
that's where you build your connections. That's where you learn about like who you are most of the time. You know, like what you want to do, what you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like obviously doing it online, you don't get that experience.
No.
You know, but it is what it is.
Yeah. At least it's the most important part. But like, I guess if you look at it, it's like they have 3 more years, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan, and we're able to get back to it in person next year.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a hard transition, though. Do you think you're ready? I don't know. I feel like
I think I am. I mean, like I don't think I am in the sense of like, damn, like I actually have to study now. You know, like I mean, I study now, but not as much as I did when I was like back in person. And it's like that's gonna suck, but at the same time, it's like that's what this experience is all about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's being able to manage your time. I'm horrible at time management too.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, like we're there, and it's like we got 4 hours, and I have an exam, and then it's like let's play some Warzone.
Let's play some Warzone, yeah.
Some Rocket League.
Some FIFA.
Yeah, some FIFA.
Got FIFA tournaments.
I'll play that for like 3 hours, and then I'll be like, damn, I have an exam in an hour. Should have studied for those 3 hours, but it's all good.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I feel like I've always been a procrastinator. Also.
Yeah, same.
I've always been a procrastinator, but I feel like I was getting better at it until the pandemic. Like now, like I think I'm even worse than that. So just because like, now I have a gaming console. Now I'm definitely more distracted. Before it was like I'd get distracted with intramurals or playing soccer or just going to Beauchamp, but now it's like gaming and going out to eat a lot.
That's all we do, man. It's just game and go out to eat, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that is to do. Like now, like, there's really nothing else to do. Like you can only do so much exercise.
Exactly. And I feel like since we were like I guess sophomores going into this pandemic, like we were starting to feel. At least I was starting to feel a little like exhausted with schooling, and I was just taking advantage of all the breaks I had. So now when they give us a pandemic, now that the pandemic came about, now that I had more time, because I could literally wake up like 5 minutes before a class, and not have my camera on for the first couple minutes, and then get dressed, and stuff like that. Like that really made me, I guess, lazy. I'm not gonna lie, it made me pretty lazy.
I know, it made me 100% lazy, man. Like,
but
sucks, but we gotta do what we gotta do,
Yeah, we got 1 more year.
Yeah, dude, 1 more year. So
One more
how
year.
you feeling about senior year? Do you think you're ready for the world?
Well, I still have to go to med school.
I think you're ready though. Like, is that something that you think you're like, okay, like I'm excited for it in the future?
Or I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited, but I'm nervous because I think this whole year in the pandemic and online learning really set me back on willingness to like stay motivated, like my motivation in general. I feel like before that I was like, like I was able to keep myself at a steady pace of like balancing out schoolwork and like social life, but now it's 80% social life, and then when I have to turn in an assignment, then I like go max with like studying and stuff like that.
You're always there bringing your computer out there.
Exactly.
We're all at the house's party.
Yeah, and like
who was it? Niece brought out a computer while playing beer pong, bro.
Man, he's like that. Huh?
I definitely agree with you on that, dude. It sucks. I mean, how do you think it's affected you though? The pandemic. I guess we haven't really talked about that, but how do you think it's affected you? Not just, I mean, as a first-gen student, like what has this 1 year of like junior year taken away from you that you think would have been valuable for a first-gen student?
For a first-gen student that's going to med school after UP or after any 4-year whatever, I think the biggest thing for me was probably not getting the ability to shadow. I feel like I was really like I didn't know where to start shadowing my freshman sophomore year, and I finally had a plan sophomore year. I was like, okay, this summer I already have a connection, a physician that I know. He said I could shadow him. I'm super excited. Let's go. Like I'm gonna get those hours in so that my application for med school, because you have to apply a year before you start, so that the application can be pretty good. I feel like the pandemic really just robbed me from that, being able to like shadow, because like last summer was really the time when I wanted to shadow. I couldn't go shadowing because the physician said that his clinic wasn't allowing any of that, and I don't think they're still doing that. So yeah, I think that the biggest thing for me as an FGEN person was that, because I didn't have other connections. Being first generation, I feel like you have to build your own network, and you sort of just like you're the first person to build the network. And like I feel like the connections that I have now, not only with you as a PA, me as a civil engineer, Danny business, and Vero as nurse, and so as well as Christian. Like if I have someone that's their freshman first gen or whatever, and they don't know anybody in those majors, and they come to me and I know them, like I can direct them to other people that I know in the field that I've already graduated. They come to UP, I didn't know that. And the pandemic just restricted me to the network that I had. I feel like that's what it robbed me of my shadowing experiences. What about you?
I don't know what it's like taken away from me. I mean, it's definitely taken away a lot. Like same, like shadowing experiences. But it's also helped me gain an opportunity. Like, like my new job, I'm gonna be trained on site to be like a full medical assistant. And it's like that's a year and a half that I no longer have to go to school for. Like my goal was always go from UP, get my prereqs in, do MA school or maybe EMT school, and then from EMT school go on to apply to PA school years later. But now it's like it saves me all this time. Like I get all on-site training, all paid for as well. Like I don't have to pay a single dime out of pocket for it. And it's like it's giving me that great opportunity to actually become or get the foot in the door in something that I thought was going to be pretty hard, especially financially. It's the last thing I want to do is pay $12,000 for MA school.
Yeah.
And now that's $12,000 that I save now.
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm just thankful for that job opportunity. And I think like without the pandemic, I definitely wouldn't have applied there. I was a barista here at the Commons, and like I love my job here. It was cool, like seeing everyone in the mornings, like hella hungover, like hella hungover and stuff.
And you hook it up with the food too.
Yeah.
Hey, Commons, if you're listening, you have workers that used to give up your food.
100%. I mean, I don't care. But yeah, and it's like I don't think I would have gotten this job opportunity if I was still in school, because I think I would have gotten comfortable with where I was at. And I mean, thankfully, like now I have that great blessing of saving $12,000. And now it's like
school.
From there, like I'm gonna probably go on and apply to EMT school, become a paramedic, work as that for a couple of years, and then go to PA school. I think the shadowing part's also important though. Like it sucks because like patient care experience hours nowadays in the medical field are valued way much more than like your GPA is. Like it still matters, but PC hours and like really working those clinical rotations like is what a lot of med schools and like PA schools and stuff are looking for.
Exactly.
And that's definitely something like disadvantageous.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of people. I know a lot of friends who have also like wanted to shadow, but they just couldn't. Because of the pandemic, and it just sucks, man.
I guess now we're talking about like good things about this pandemic. Cause, like it's easy to focus on the bad things, but you also like gotta realize that there's some good things.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things.
That at least happened to me too. I wasn't able to work as a COVID screener at the hospital last summer, even though my initial plan was to shadow the physician that I knew. I was able to work as a screener at the hospital, and so I got to see the same physician because he would come in to do like look at patients and everything. But I was a screener, and eventually like I started like managing all the entrances, and like that's where I was before coming to UK. And I think that was a really good experience and something that's gonna look really good because I guess I was involved in. I still put myself in a situation where I wanted to help out the community during the pandemic, and so I found that way to do that. So that's one good thing about this pandemic that has happened to me.
I think there's a lot of positives. Like I guess everyone can come up. I feel like with at least 3 positives that they got out of this pandemic. Obviously more negatives, but like me with Coda, like I just got the puppy. I mean, without the pandemic, I definitely wouldn't have gotten the dog. Like there's no way. I'd say that's too much to be in person and like having to deal with the puppy at home. Like there's just no way.
Yeah. So what's something that you're like? What's your greatest passion right now? I'd say like what's your something that you're really focusing a lot of time into right now?
Getting my KD up in Warzone, bro. Like,
really?
I'm joking. I think I just working on myself, like individually. Like I mean, I've always been, or at least like I mean, you've seen, like in high school and stuff, like how big like a gym freak I was, and like and I definitely let myself go. Like once I came to college, like I gained 60. Oh, freshman 15, bro. It's real.
It's real. Actually, for me, it was the other way.
For me, it was freshman 60, bro.
For me, the first half was minus. I actually lost like 15 pounds. The second half, I gained like 30, 35,
really? Jesus.
So.
No, yeah, it's like just working on myself and as an individual, being able to be more independent, working out more, working on my health. I recently found out like my mom was diagnosed with diabetes. I mean, I knew it was prone to happen. My family's like pre-diabetic pretty much. We're always like on the heavy side. And so it kind of sucks because that just means like now I'm considered pre-diabetic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to watch my health. It's definitely something that's always layering in the back of my head. And obviously, like letting myself go kind of sucks because
Mm-hmm.
I'm at greater risk for that now.
Yeah.
And so I definitely have to be more careful with what I do. But at the end of the day, I think it helps me build that excuse. It's I have to take care of myself. I have to take care, not just physically, but like mentally, emotionally. This year has definitely taken a toll on me, like mentally.
Yeah.
Like I definitely know for a fact my patience is nowhere near where it was before COVID. Like now I get pretty irritated pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's over like small things too.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health has definitely been something that I guess a lot of people can struggle with during this time. But yeah, just working on myself has been something that
You've been focusing on a lot. That's
Helps
good
yourself.
though, honestly. For myself, I think, which was another positive of the pandemic, I guess, it was like just starting to cut hair. You know how much I like to cut hair,
Crazy.
But like,
right there, man.
yeah, like I just recently bought some new trimmers actually for the setup, and like I just like investing this money into something I like to do. That and also just like investing money.
Yeah.
You know how big I am on that too.
for
So
sure.
those are two things that I'm really putting a lot of my time into. Which I should be focusing more on studying for my MCAT just because that's coming up in June, and that's like the most important exam I'm ever gonna take. And like that's coming up June. Like how long is it? Like
It's not even 5 months away.
I think it's like
June's 3 months away, dude. Like
It's 3 months
yeah.
away. I told myself I was gonna start 6 months and I haven't started.
Damn.
So that's a big disappointment to myself. So I think I'm definitely gonna start doing that more now.
Yeah.
Because I have the books. I've just been slacking. It's just so easy to get
Yeah.
distracted. I think I just need to devote like at least 30 minutes to reading over some pages a day.
You talk about your passion about finding out like how to do stocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what I mean, what's one tip that you think could help anybody out in business? You've taught me about stocks. Like I started doing stocks because of you. Like I didn't know how to trade or anything, and now I know, and now I do it like pretty frequently. Like, opened up a 401k, like a Roth IRA, like invest in that too. But I don't know. What's one goal that you think someone should always set for themselves, like financially?
I think financial literacy is not something that you're taught. Like in high school, you had to take, at least for us, we had to take economics.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really know how to budget my money. I didn't know how to grow my money like long term. Like I always knew like just work, open up a 401k, and that's sort of how just put money into that. But I think there's better options in my opinion. And I guess the advice I would give someone is just sort of evaluate what you want to do with the stock market. Like I think everyone should have some sort of position in there. You could either do it by investing money or trading. I think those are two different things. So trading is more like you're devoted to it like on a pretty consistent basis, daily,
Day to day.
weekly or monthly. Investing is more of like putting your money into companies that you love or that you really believe in, instead of like selling whenever they're doing bad. It's like buying more of it. It just depends on what type of person or how you want to look into the stock market, I think. And I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest step for someone that's going into stocks. Like, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to just put your money away monthly and into like a safe, I guess, ETF fund, which is like an index fund, like SPY and stuff like that, or the Dow Jones? Just let it grow over time, because over time, like on average, it gives returns of like 8%. So like if you put money away, I think I haven't done the math or anything like that. Like if you put like 350K, let's say, in total over a span of like a couple years, like you could have more money than that once you like retire. And the great thing with that is that when you take out that money for the first time, like let's say you're 65, you already have like $2 million that you've invested some money, and now you have $2 million to sit on. Like when you get taxed on that money, it's only 10%, I believe. It's only 10% that you get taxed off. Whereas with a Roth or like not a Roth, but like a 401k, you get taxed higher once you take that money out, and you can't take it out any earlier, or else you get. I don't remember exactly, but there's definitely time limits, and you get taxed higher on it. Just know what you want to go into in the stock market, and there's various niches if you go into the trader lifestyle.
Did being a first gen affect like your financial literacy?
Yeah, because I didn't know anything. I'm telling you, like in high school, I'd work every summer in the fields and stuff, and I'd make $2,000, $3,000 a summer, which now doesn't feel like a lot because back then the dollar was a little bit less and you would be paid less too. But I'd spent all my money. Exactly. I spent all my money, man, on like buying myself stuff and like I just didn't know how to save my money. My parents would tell me to save money, but I also like
put it under the couch,
yeah,
under your bed.
yeah, like I think the biggest thing with being first gen and not having this financial literacy going into the stock market was like I think a blessing because it really encouraged me to learn more. Like I am very passionate about reading about it. Like I just like to learn about it a lot. If I wasn't first gen and if I didn't know this before, like I feel like if I knew what it was and I just didn't like it earlier on, I feel like I wouldn't have the ambition I have now to keep learning. I think one of my biggest goals in my life is to be able to retire my parents. Like I feel like I wouldn't be able to feel like define myself as successful until like I can retire my parents and sustain my family that I have. Like I do want to have a family, but like I feel like I wouldn't have reached like made it. Like they say I wouldn't have made it until I helped my parents out.
So I guess like going off of that, where do you see yourself in like 10 years then? In like 10 years from now, like what's that like lavish life that you now like envision now? Like, where do you see yourself? Yeah, you plan to stay here, moving out?
Yeah, in 10 years, I think 10 years is when I'm gonna start probably practicing. I don't know how many years I'm gonna have practicing because I don't know if I'll be able to get into med school right off the bat after UP, or if I'm gonna have to take a couple years off or a year off. But I do think I'm gonna be practicing. And I feel like after UP, I'm definitely going to start getting a job that brings me in a sustainable amount of money that I could then put away for years. So by the time I'm 30, I have like a good fund. So I think I'm a big advocate for like those people that to have like funds for emergency. It's not always possible for everyone.
It's hard.
Like it's easy to be like, what? You don't have money saved up? Like what? Like I don't know if you've seen the stat, but like I think like over 70% of like
don't even have like
Americans
1 month's worth of emergency. Yeah.
And like
I've seen that.
like it's like easy to be like what? Like those people probably don't like they spend their money like without thinking about it. It's hard to like especially like think about like a family that has to like someone that's providing for other people and like they have to work so hard to be able to even make ends meet.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to save money. And like it's so easy to like someone that does have that money to like be like, oh, what, you don't have that saved up, like you just don't know how to budget your money. But it's not really that easy. Like people don't consider the factors of like maybe they just barely make enough to make ends meet and they're already working a really hard lifestyle hours. In 10 years, luckily, like in 10 years I feel like I'm gonna have a pretty stable job working as a surgeon. Like I said, I don't know, I was thinking orthopedics, but I'm very considering that neurosurgeon, not gonna lie.
Neurosurgeon.
I'm really considering
neurosurgeon, like just a brain surgeon, man. Imagine that.
Yeah. I saw this Netflix documentary for anybody that's interested in the medical field. I think it's called what is it called? I don't even know, but I was watching with my girlfriend, and it was such a cool show. Like and it's basically about like following these doctors that work in the hospital. And one of the episodes was
Grey's Anatomy.
It's funny to think I've never seen Grey's Anatomy. Never. Have you seen it?
I've seen a couple shows with my sister.
Yeah.
I don't really like it. I'm not really into that medical drama type of stuff.
Because it's more about that.
It's more about drama than it is medical,
Yeah.
And so like I don't really like that combination. 10 years ago, if you look at yourself, like now, and 10 years ago, I mean you were what, 10, 11? Yeah.
10 years ago,
10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, 10. Would you say you're proud of yourself? Proud of where you're at now?
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, there's a lot more that you can be doing, and there's a lot more that's still left to accomplish. But based off of the spot that you're at now, like, 10 years ago, would you have ever believed that you're here, like where you're at now?
No, I really wouldn't have. I think my especially my dad like pushed me pretty hard to like work. I was just tired of going to school. Like I'd say going into high school, I just wanted to finish. So like I guess 10 years ago, I still had that mentality like school is just a chore. Like that's what I thought of it as. So I'm pretty glad that I'm not necessarily saying that, like I said, that you have to go to college, but like it just happened to me that I really made it my goal and that I accomplished it. So yeah, I would say so. I feel like there's a lot of things I need to learn and a lot of things I want to do still. I feel like I have my career planned out. I know what I want to do. I feel like now I just need to plan out my social life. Like there are like things on bucket list, because life is too short.
Yeah,
Life is too short, and
definitely.
like there's things I want to do, like travel, go skydiving. Even though I'm scared of heights, that's one thing
Let's
I
go
want to do.
skydiving.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Like stuff like that. What about you?
Yes and no. I think I'd be proud of where I'm at, but I don't think I'd be proud of what I've accomplished so far. Like at least I don't know. I mean, obviously, like as a kid, like when they ask you, "Oh, what do you want to be?" It's like, "Oh, I want to be a doctor." Or like, "Oh, I want to be a lawyer." "Oh, I want to be this." Like I don't know. I feel like I envisioned myself as a kid doing a lot more things now than I really am now.
Yeah.
And it's like again, I mean, mainly it's just because I'm lazy. I feel that's a big part. Like I am proud because we were talking about that one night at the bonfire. It's like we've made it this far.
Yeah.
Like I honestly never thought I was gonna make it this far. Because it's the same thing. Like I would see school kind of as a burden almost. It's kind of like, ugh, I have to do it. It's like sometimes I'd see like when I work over the summer, it's like and I make 4 or 5 racks, and then all of a sudden, damn, like this feels pretty nice.
Yeah, no, honestly,
especially as a kid, like not paying bills or anything, dude. Like
and you just keep
having those
money.
$5,000 to yourself. It's like obviously, I mean, you're gonna go spend it on shoes and stuff. So it's like that. It's at the sense of like that naiveness, But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things I could have accomplished still, that I still have. And I think same thing as like bucket list type of things, Like I mean, skydiving is definitely one of them, so I definitely do that. Bungee jumping and stuff. I like to put myself in risky situations sometimes.
You're a risk taker,
huh? Yeah and no. Like obviously it has to be within my comfort zone, or at least I have to grow the courage to like want to do it. Like skydiving, I'll 100% do that. Like I don't care. At first I'll be like, God damn, it's pretty high, but I'm already there. I already paid $500. Like,
is that how much it is?
There's only one way down.
I mean, you can't get over it. No, man, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
how far we've gotten.
It is. Would you say, as a final thing, do you think your family's proud of you?
Oh yeah, 100%. They don't say it to me a lot, but I know they are, and I feel like that's sort of the way it is. At least in my family. I'm not sure if that's with you, but like it took my parents a lot to say they were proud of me. Like in high school, I just really had to go off on like being okay that I was doing this for myself. I don't know, like in my family, we never really said like, "Oh, I love you," or like, "Yeah, like go take care." We always meant it. We just didn't say it explicitly. Yeah, and saying I'm proud of you is one of those things that I think I'm the one that really started implementing that in the family. Like being away from home, if my parents weren't doing it, like I should be the one doing it. So I did. I started like after every phone call, I'm like, okay, te quiero, I love you, and like they say it back now. But yeah, before it wasn't, but now, but they were still proud, They just couldn't say it. What about you?
I think so. I think I'm in the same boat with you. It's just more like I feel like for my dad, like my dad's the one that's very hard to like get to say things like that. But I know he is. I know that. For example, like sometimes when I go in the summer to go like mow lawns with him, like all his clients would know who I was and like where I was headed. He'd be like, "Oh, he told me you're going to the University of Portland.
Exactly.
Like, you're going to college. Like that's so exciting and this and that. It's like I mean, he doesn't really talk to me about it, but I know he talks to other people about it.
He definitely brags about you to other people. Yeah,
and it's like I mean, I guess that's nice, but at the same time, it would have like growing up, it would have been nice to also hear it like from them, saying like, "Oh, I'm proud of you," because I would hear from my mom, just not my dad. Yeah. And sometimes I'd be there and I'd be like, well, am I not satisfying like him? Or like, what do I need to do to like satisfy? Yeah. Or like get that like
approval, like okay, you're finally on the right track. I feel like they always were like, they always scolded you for the things you did wrong, but they never really applauded you for the things you did
100%. Yeah. I got my ass whooped so many times as a kid, bro. Like, it's not even funny. And just my family in general is very supportive too. Like, same here, like with my parents, like we never really used to say like, "Oh, I love you." Like, and now every time I talk to them, because I'm so far away from home.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know when the last time that I saw him was in August, and that may have. I mean, you never know. Like that could be the last time that I ever see them.
Especially during the pandemic, I think that was the biggest thing. During the pandemic, we lost a lot of people. It really goes to show that life is short and it's hard to have burdens against
life
people.
Life is really short, man.
like, you know, love the people around you, you know, make sure they know that.
Yeah. In a split second, your life can change. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that obviously we don't take into consideration when we take it for granted. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And it's like, well, maybe you won't.
Exactly.
You know, and that's why I think like during this pandemic too, like I've definitely been like a risk taker, like way more, just because it's like life's too short, man. Like,
It is.
I don't want to go and be like, oh, I had the opportunity to do this with this person and I didn't solely because I was too lazy or solely because I didn't want to, and now it's like I don't even have that opportunity anymore. You know, so it's like might as well just go for it.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you
think
never know when that last time's gonna be.
exactly doing what we're doing right now, like even the podcast with Norman and Johnny, you know, putting this together. Like I think this is definitely outside my comfort zone.
Yeah,
like,
100%,
no,
dude.
because I don't like how my
It's
voice
like,
sounds like.
who's gonna be hearing this? The school?
Oh, who's gonna be here?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Nah.
Because I'm so self-conscious about my voice. Like
Your voice?
Like
Yeah,
once this comes, like if we ever publish
Have
this,
you ever like put a phone in one ear and then the other one?
yeah, dude. Like record, like just hearing myself from videos. Oh my gosh, it sounds so like my voice. Like I just don't like it. So probably when this gets published, I probably won't listen to it. Not gonna lie, because I can't stand like listening to myself for some reason. But that's something I'm working on. You know, like I can't change that.
Yeah.
Estoy feo, pero you know, what can I do?
Those tres and stuff.
But yeah.
It's been a good year though. Good ride for sure. It's definitely taught me a lot of things. So.
Yeah.
And there's only room for growth from here on out, dude.
Exactly.
And to everyone out there too, man, like it's a lot of room for growth. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If you're a first-generation student or faculty member at the University of Portland who is interested in speaking on this podcast, particularly with a friend, classmate, or mentor of yours who is also first-gen, don't hesitate to reach out to John and Norman to schedule a time and place to record. Our emails are hartj22@up.edu and hilker22@up.edu. Support for this podcast comes from the Public Research Fellowship Program and the First Generation Program of the University of Portland's Shepherd Academic Resource Center. The First Gen Experience is written and directed by Melanie Mwavwai, editing and sound by Jonathan Hart and Norman Hilker, funding provided by the Public Research Fellowship Program.